All right, here we go. All right, welcome to another episode of GrowthMinded. Today on the podcast, I'm excited to sit down with Tyler Gerckens. He's a longtime friend, and he definitely gives my life. He keeps me on my toes for sure. He's a great guy, and I'm kind of excited to share his story with you, and have him join the podcast for the first time. So, Tyler, thanks for coming on.
Eddie, appreciate it. I watch podcasts like every single day. Never been on one, so I'm excited to get some great conversations ahead, and hopefully can share some information that someone's never heard before.
Definitely. So, for maybe like a first-time listener, for more context on this podcast, it's Growth Minded. I started this back in 2020. Actually, one of our childhood friends passed away in his 20s, and at that time, I wondered why that would happen, and if there's any advice that I could have given my friend at that time to kind of like maybe steer him in another way or kind of like change his life a little bit. So, just from like different books I've read and stuff like that, I've learned that um, there's a good quote like someone who has a why or a purpose to live can bear almost anything, anyhow.
Yep.
And I'm definitely excited to talk about that with you because even in our friend group, Tyler's like a super influential guy, inspirational guy. He's always got a lot on his plate, and he always takes care of it all.
Mhm.
So more on that in a little bit for sure. So yeah, like that's basically what we're gonna be kind of diving into. For those who are interested, I kind of got that quote like he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow from Man's Search for Meaning. It's a pretty good book. It was about this guy Viktor Frankl. He was in Auschwitz for a bit, for years actually, and his family was executed. He went through all these horrific experiences. I won't get into the nitty gritty, but like basically he was saying like people who have a why to live had a higher survival rate while they
Right.
were in those concentration camps. And then he was basically saying like the last human freedoms is just like being able to respond or react to like a stimulus or an event. So I guess that's where it kind of comes into play. Like how do we choose to work through a situation when it does come up? So with that said, we'll switch some gears here. Again, I want to talk to Tyler now a little bit about his what kind of drives him, some of his values here, and then maybe some causes that he cares about or would want to put like or highlight during this call to
Yeah.
kind of be like a win-win situation. So I'll turn it over to you, Tyler. Like, would you want to kind of like introduce yourself a little bit and maybe give some feedback as to maybe what your why is if you had a mission statement out there for the
Yeah.
listeners?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, my name's Tyler Gerckens. To give you an idea, me and Eddie have been friends since I was like 10 years old, fifth grade. That's a great question of like what drives me because like I'm very, very big on getting better every single day. And I think the biggest thing for me, what drives me is just be happy. I feel like a lot of people nowadays really feel like they need to do a certain job because of their parents or do something because of money or better yet, I feel like in society right now, people judge you if you don't have a girlfriend at a certain time, you don't get married, you don't do this. I feel like for me, it's really whatever makes me happy. And I say this about music, I say this about my job. Like I'm probably the happiest I've ever been. And I think like it's gonna come in time. Like there's certain things I hold myself accountable for, but other things I'm like, you know what, it's okay that I'm not making X amount because my one friend's making like $100,000 already. Or better yet, it's okay that like I'm, with my girlfriend for 3 years, we're not engaged. I just feel like in society, I feel a lot of times people hold other people accountable. And it just like sucks that a lot of people feel pressured. They feel like they're not good enough. They feel like, oh man, why did I not do this already? And like you could see this with, I mean, some friends that I have, they feel the pressure because they didn't, I don't know, I guess accomplish enough at a certain age. That's why like I'm very big advocate of like don't sweat the small stuff. I just feel like if you can, like, I love your quote earlier because like if you can allow yourself to be happy in the littlest things, that's how you can grow. That's how you can be better every single day. I don't know. What do you think? Like, are you a big guy of like don't sweat the small stuff? Do you allow, I guess, little things bother you? Like, I don't know. That's actually a question. Do you?
Yes, that's great feedback already. Like a lot of interesting stuff you said, like society, a lot of pressures
Yeah.
out there and expectations, especially for like just young folks or like, just people coming into the real world from college and stuff. But for me, you kind of spoke on your mission a little bit. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool to hear that from you, because it seemed like that was the case, where just kind of like getting better each day.
Yeah.
If I had to say what my mission it would be, it was like uh, to develop a growth mindset, and that ties into like the growth mindset is like it's not necessarily how smart you are, it's about kind of like how much effort you put into something,
Yeah.
and then like effort over time creates a skill, and then like competency and stuff like that. So it's definitely to develop that growth mindset. Actually, I have it in quotes here, to like better myself day after day, year after year, and then just continuous improvement and self mastery for sure. And then I guess to like close things out,
Yeah.
to also like help others like find that in their life, to like to find that meaning and stuff.
Definitely.
Because I'm very lucky and fortunate with my upbringing and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I had a great family, and I had a great education, and I'm sure not everyone has that and has like the resources to like people who get it, if you know what I mean.
My biggest thing too is my business partner actually taught me this. It's called the 1% rule. And he's like, if you can like write down all the things you want to get better at, and you just get 1% better, like if you read one more page, if you work out for 5 more minutes, if you have the ability to start getting and developing routines that get you better, that's how you get happier. That's how you accomplish more. And so I started something like that too. It's like a habit tracker. So like I'll put in like, hey, I want to accomplish how many push-ups, how many times I go to the gym, how many times I wake up in the morning. And I try to like form habits in a way where it's bettering me. Whereas others maybe are not in like thinking in a way like, oh wow, like I'm addicted to cigarettes. Oh man, I've had alcohol 5 days this week. Oh man, I've done this. Like sometimes being self-aware and cutting back the bad habits and just doing, even if you can do like the good habit for 5 minutes, right? And then you every day you do it now for 6 minutes, now it's 7 minutes. As long as you're getting 1% better, I feel like that's how you can really grow, kind of have that growth mindset as well.
Yeah, great point there. That sounds like a great guy that you work with or
Yeah,
work.
he's
Yeah.
very like not only knowledgeable, but he's taught me a lot of getting organized and setting goals and have the ability to like even our company, right? We set goals every single month, and like even if we don't accomplish it, it's okay. But at least we know we're trying to get there. And that's why I feel like every successful person that I've either read, either audiobook or watching a podcast or listening to a podcast, I feel like they always say setting goals is the biggest thing. So I feel like a lot of people in different societies, let's say in lower classes, they don't set goals, right? They always feel like they're working at the nurse shop, right? Or they're maybe just trying to get their next paycheck, or better yet, they're not like lucky like us. They don't have the ability to do that. I feel like maybe if we share this with someone, they're like, hey, maybe I can do this, maybe I can get a better job, can do this work better, can lose weight. I just feel like it can maybe like help a lot of people out there.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good stuff that's already like I want to get into. Let's
Yeah.
see. So just when you're saying like the habit tracker and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting, because that we're kind of similar in a way, where this once I started reading about this growth mindset, it's almost like I won't go down this rabbit hole, but like the Super Saiyans and like Dragon Ball, like they're always trying to get to that next power up. So even with some of the habits that I have, it is like push-ups or like working out, like abs and stuff.
Yeah.
Every month I have like I try to incrementally improve it. Even with like the amount of books that I read, if I read I'm shooting for 18 books this year from
Yeah.
17. And I guess when you when you do that kind of stuff, you subliminally get rid of the stuff that isn't so good for you, if that makes sense. Because like you're putting more time and effort into stuff that, betters you, or, you know what I mean? Compared to like,
100%. Yeah,
it could be a solution for like folks who are smoking or like
yeah,
have some bad habits. If they put more time and energy
yeah.
into like good things, then the small stuff, the bad stuff would eventually cut itself out.
Man, it's the biggest thing is just being self-aware. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. Like, you have to realize in certain things in your life that you have to work on. And like so many people, they don't realize that there's a problem. I feel like I'm a big advocate of problem solution. And that's why I really feel like I'm really big advocate also as don't sweat the small stuff. If you have the ability to let little things go and really just focus on the things that you need to work on, that's how you really get better. Versus you're like, oh no, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I have nothing wrong with me. That's where the first problem is, because you don't realize that there's even a problem to begin with. Like, for instance, like, oh man, I'm not sad, or nothing's wrong. Well, hey, if you can realize there's a problem and help someone, let's say you, right? Like, I tell you, I come to you, hey, I have this problem, I want to solve it. Hey, that's much better than communication versus letting it deep down inside you, keeping that for 30, a month, 3 months, 6 months. That's why a big reason why I feel like people get depressed, people get sad, because you don't let things go. They don't talk to anyone about it. That's why I feel like I'm very like open, very honest. Like, I talk to everyone about everything. I have nothing to hide. I feel like that's another thing too, where that ties in with having a growth mindset. Because if you just keep everything bottled, I mean, you can't get better. That's why I feel like. I don't know. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I would think so too. Like, if you keep a lot of stuff to yourself,
Yeah,
over time, it's just kind of gonna eat at you a little bit.
100%.
So it's definitely important to have, like, in my opinion, like a support system of like people to talk to, friends, people at work,
Yeah,
family, stuff like that. Just stuff you can like get off your chest to like help you not sweat the small stuff. And
definitely.
yeah, a lot of the time you could get like emotionally triggered about something, and then you tell someone and they're like, yeah, that was awful. Like, just someone like relates to you,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, well, at least I'm not the only one.
I totally agree, man. I think having other people, we're so lucky. I feel like there's so many people out there that literally have no one to go to, and it
Mhm.
makes me feel lucky. Like, I always just try to be appreciative of what I have. I don't live in a big house. I don't own many things, but something I do have is a lot of people I can go to, and I feel like a lot of friends who are genuine people. Versus you see other people like who are fake, or I have so many people like, oh, I'm not friends with anyone from middle school or high school or even college. Like, it saddens me because no one really has a true friend. Whereas I feel like we have like good people around us that aren't negative, that are positive, want to get better. If like that is a big reason why I'm like this, versus if I had no one, there's no shot I'd be positive or want to get better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably one of the most positive guys. You have one of the best attitudes that I know. And,
Yeah.
out of all my friends and the people I work with, family, like, you're definitely at that top of the list for sure.
I appreciate
So
it, man. I
give
agree.
yourself some
Same
credit
here.
for that.
I feel like our whole friend group, right? We're not like
Oh
negative
yeah.
people. We're not going to bars and like getting in fights or coming in like to basketball and like getting like, I don't know, in a fight at basketball or something where like you get too pissed off. I feel like we all are all around just good, genuine people who are just like pretty happy. And like I feel like if something ever was wrong though, like you'd come to me, I'd come to you, and
Hmm.
we'd help each other. Like there wasn't like any point where I feel like I need to hide things from you, you need to hide things from me. And that's pretty cool. Whereas like other friend groups, like for instance, my girlfriend Joelle, they get a crazy amount of fights. I'm like, what's the reason? Like the smallest minuscule things. I just feel like I'm so glad that our group's not like that. We get along. I don't think we've ever
Hmm.
been in like any of us have been in like some crazy fight, right? I don't remember anything
No,
like that.
there's actually really never been too much drama.
No, it's so great. I can't believe like how many other groups that I know personally that like have drama constantly every week about the little
Mhm.
things. I'm like, I can't relate. Like honestly, my group's great. Like even my other friend groups, like we don't have drama in our groups just because like what's there to fight about? We have great lives. We have great community around us. I mean, you probably think the same, right?
Yeah, we kind of just like pick up where we left off
Yeah, literally.
from the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you said like that 1% rule, and feeling like you know, as good as you've ever felt. One you know, strategy I can share with you after the call.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up now, but it's pretty cool. Like it's called it's this quad 2 matrix. I read about it in this book, like the 7 habits of highly effective people. And basically this author highlights like the different, let's say you have 4 different quadrants in your life.
Yeah.
So let's say quadrant 1 is like super important and like super uh maybe important and timely. Like that's kind of like at the top, like it's very important and you need it done right now. Then he says there's another quadrant where it's like it's important, but you don't necessarily need to do it right now. Like let's say working out or maybe calling your family, staying in touch with your friends, making plans, all this stuff that's really important, but you don't really need to do it now.
Yeah.
He's arguing, like this author says, like you should live your life in this quadrant, like the quadrant that's important, but you don't need to do it now, as opposed to like this important stuff that needs to be done every second of the day. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine like what something would be like that. Like I guess going to the emergency room or like going to the doctor appointment and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
super urgent stuff. He's like, you should basically be chilling out, but also doing things that are super important. So
Yep.
he kind of describes this quad 2 matrix, and it's basically like it boils down to like a way to plan your week out. And I've been doing this for a year and a half so far, and it's been really cool. It's been a really cool tool to help me prioritize all the cool stuff in my life. So that's kind of like another question I have for you, and I can open up a little bit too afterwards. But like, so you kind of mentioned like, you know, what's driving you, your why is to like, you know, be happy, continue to like be happy year after year. So I guess what are some of the things that you do to help get you there? You know what I mean? Like it could be staying
Yeah.
in touch with family
Yeah.
or working out, going to concerts, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say easily number one thing is going to concerts. Like no, a number of things, music probably right now in my life. It like literally generally makes me so happy just traveling, meeting and going new places. And also too like just meeting new people. For some reason, I love just making friends, just walking up to strangers, hearing about their lives, connecting with them. And music honestly is the number one thing because of that. I literally have friends all around the country that like I can go to. Like I've been to like Dallas. I was in San Diego earlier. I was just in Montreal. I was in Miami. Like I have friends all those places now because of
Mhm.
music. And I think genuinely, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be as happy as I am. I like every single week I look up to on Fridays, going through New Music Friday, going to release radar, and it's because of the music that brings everyone together. And now I have this like small community I go to these things. Like we're going to like I'm going to a music festival in like in September, and it started with like 4 people, and now we're gonna have like 35 people camping. And it's just
Hmm.
cool how like it grow like not only as I grow, but my friends grow with me is like the coolest thing to me. How if it wasn't for let's say the music, no one would be there, right? Like 0 people at the festival, but because of like the same music we listen to, it drives everyone. And like and I like how all of my friends at least they're there for the music, right? It's no other reason. So I probably think the number one reason that really drives me is music. Like I learned how to DJ now. I now engulfed in like finding new music, and then definitely like concerts, festivals. It really drives me. Probably the number one reason. Besides that, I'd probably say like being active. I love going to the gym. I love going playing basketball. I'm in a volleyball league. I play ultimate frisbee now. I feel like staying active is another reason where the perfect example actually. I broke my wrist back in January, like last January, and it was during COVID, and I couldn't do anything. I've never been so upset ever in my entire life. I wouldn't say depressed because it was a very short period of time, but during that time, I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't drive. There was no concerts, and I wasn't able to even like do anything.
Sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
that made me though realize though
Hmm.
how fucking lucky I was when I could do a push-up, when I can go to the gym, when concerts were back, when we're able to like just go outside. So I think blessing in disguise, right? I was able to realize though after the fact, right, when I'm fully better, and I love the scar personally too, because now I can look back and realize like, holy crap, like I am so lucky to be doing these things, that ability to go out. So I probably those are probably the two main things that like drive me, that make me happy. Probably other things, but it's probably the top two I think right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, for me, there's a lot, I guess. There's a lot that kind
Yeah.
of keeps me interested in and stuff like that. Like even today, just for example, like playing basketball, there's this good LA Fitness by me, and the runs are really good, like max 15 guys. And so you don't have to wait too long if you get beat. The guys are pretty good competition.
Love that. Yeah.
So I go like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's just awesome. Like I've been playing basketball for, I don't know, 10 years. I don't know how long. It seems like forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been cool to like see that progress too. Like you were saying, like you started going to these concerts, and it was like it started off with the three of you, and now
Yeah.
it's 35 of you.
Yeah.
Even just like I like seeing progress in anything. And so even in basketball, I remember just being the first time I was able to make a lefty layup. And now, 10 years later, I got all these post moves. Like it's just like I'm a different player, even
Yeah.
from a year ago or 2 years ago. So I always like seeing like the progression of something for sure, like the growth of something too. So yeah, today was definitely a big basketball day. And outside of that, I'm a big like adventure travel kind of guy. So even if they're not, cross country trips, at least still like visiting some friends or having hosting friends or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's always cool when you get like a community of people together and you
Definitely.
can all kind of bond over the same experiences.
Dude, yeah, it's so fun. And yeah, basketball is great, man. I would just like in sports in general, I'd like give the biggest advice I would give is like to someone who's maybe not that active, even just join a league, right? If you can just join
Hmm.
a community where like you can join a new team, make new friends. It's so fun, right? I mean, when we did our league, like we didn't win very often, but it was still so fun. Like when we did win, that was great. Like I still had
Oh
a great
yeah.
time leaving every single weekend. It's like it's not high school, it's not college anymore, right? It's not like we need to win, but man, it's so fun when you get like with all your friends, every week you're gonna see them. So yeah, it's cool. Now I'm joining like a volleyball league every week. Now I have first year every week to look up to. And now I know like at least I'm gonna be active in those 2 days minimum, along with
Hmm.
going to the gym. It's like it's very, very, very fun for sure.
When did you start DJing? I know you did a show maybe what last weekend or the weekend
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. So I started DJing probably around like legitimately like 2 years ago. And then yeah, I started like practicing more and more. And so yeah, me and my friends, we did we rented out a boat, and like I think we got like 65 people total on like a boat. Got to play like for 3 hours, with my friend, and it was like my biggest DJ set to date. I'm hoping next time I like just like the
Hmm.
growth progress, right? I want to hopefully play in front of 100 people, then 150 people, maybe 200 people. And if you can getting in front of more people, it was like one of the greatest experiences of my entire life. I had like goosebumps playing music for everyone loving it. I was like, well, honestly, it met the expectations of my like before, right? Because you're thinking about, oh man, I hope someone's gonna like the song. I hope this transition's good. I wonder if everyone's gonna like this. And they did, and everyone's singing the songs. I was like, I need to do this again.
That's awesome. So like it's even evolved to the point where you're on the other side of it, where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
uh you grew up more of like, someone in the audience, and now you're just like you switch roles and you're like, I'm in control of the vibes.
It's so cool, man. I was not nervous at all for some reason. I thought I was gonna
Mhm.
be nervous. My friend was a little nervous. And I think what helped though was like it was in front of my friends. If it was random people, I might have been a little nervous, but knowing that I know everyone is gonna love the music that I've also found like brand new songs. I did like some different types of vibes as well, but everyone was loving it the entire time, and that's really what matters. Yeah, I was really happy that everyone was loving it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
it seemed like a good time from just the few pictures I saw.
yeah, for sure.
And I'm sorry I missed it,
That's
but
all right, man.
I'll be
Next
there at
time.
the 100 crowd.
Yes, yes.
When you get 100 people, I'm showing up for sure.
All right, done deal.
Cool. So I guess just like one of the other pieces of my mission and like the growth mindset, how this podcast has evolved, it's been changing from year to year. So one thought I had is to be like, well, what can we do as a community, like to like, is there, for example, like an organization or like just people you would want to shout out, or almost like, probably not explaining this best, but like almost like causes that you would care about. For example, like we could use this platform to raise awareness and potentially raise some money
Yeah,
for like a cause. So one thing I did last year was like a fundraiser for suicide prevention.
yeah,
So it could be like a win-win because that's a cause that I care about, and we could use this podcast as a platform to like raise awareness for it, and then
yeah.
people can like donate towards a great cause. I was curious if you had anything um in mind, and it doesn't even have to be like an organization like that. Like I was also thinking like, hey, maybe one episode I'll try to raise money for my mom's retirement or something, like a Kickstarter or something like that, and see like
Yeah.
how many people would kind of pitch in. But I was curious if you had any things that immediately came to the top of your head.
I'd probably say, obviously, I would probably say number one, agree, same thing for suicide awareness. I actually did that donation for my birthday last year.
Mhm.
I raised like $300, something like that. It looks pretty good. I got like some people to do it. I think another one though is mental health, just mental health in general. I think
Mhm.
too many people are just very either depressed, have anxiety. I would love to like, I don't know, go out and try to help others that are maybe not in the same place as me, right? And we have the ability to get them resources, either a therapist or I know there's actually a company. It's called BetterHelp. It's a sponsor that a lot of podcasts that I watch, and it's an online therapy program, and like they have like guarantees where if your therapist isn't the best within like exact amount of months, they'll replace them. I feel like just having someone to talk to for someone who doesn't, like we're talking about earlier, I think could be really huge for people.
Wow. Yeah, never heard of BetterHelp. That definitely would tie into kind of the vibe that I'm trying to have here with
Yeah,
just like the mindset and just like having, I feel like when you have that kind of mindset for growth and stuff,
yeah,
it kind of is like all about your attitude and stuff like that. So
definitely.
if, people, listeners and stuff like that, if they had a resource to like continue that, I don't know, maybe emotional growth, if that
Yeah,
makes sense, like
emotional growth. I like that. Yeah,
that
definitely.
would be a way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely share with that. I can send you like a link after too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to do some like digging and maybe make it look pretty somehow and just easy for people to get to that site and stuff. So
Yeah,
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 yeah, definitely send me that link. I'll follow up after the call.
yeah. Even one person, that helps. Hey, go for it. And I watched this one podcast, and they always say like, because the guy I watched, he was a former addict. He was like bottom end of the totem pole. Like he was homeless, had a 400 credit score, and he was able to overcome addiction. He was able to have a therapist, get better day by day, and now like he's a multimillionaire. He talks about all his experiences, and he always says from his experiences, even if he can help one person, even if it helps like, just by talking about it and how he
Mhm.
overcome his addiction and how he's able to get there, that's what makes him happy as fuck. I would think about the same way. Like if I can help one person through this podcast or in general when I speak, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll talk more on that after.
Definitely.
Great idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it from my end. Other than that, like I wanted to talk a little bit more maybe after the call or so. We can
Yeah.
like talk some more ideas I had for like growing this podcast, pick your brain a
Yeah.
little bit. But other than that, yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time, Tyler. Like we got to know a little bit about what drives you, and the different ways that you do it, whether it's through DJing or traveling, seeing friends, or staying active. That scar story is a pretty cool reminder. I'm sure whenever you see it, you're like, okay, like it's probably a cool reminder to be like, I'm glad both my arms work and I'm glad I could get outside and stuff like
Definitely,
that.
definitely. Always a good reminder, this broken wrist. No, I mean, I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. We got some really great topics. And I feel like we let the conversation flow really well. I think it was a good podcast for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was cool. I was definitely clicking and just going off the top of my head for a lot of this stuff.
Definitely, man.
And then BetterHelp, we're gonna shout them out now, and we'll find a way to get you guys a link for that. I might do like a newsletter or something, a
Cool.
weekly newsletter, just to be like, hey, like here's some different sponsors that we're trying to like raise some money for or attention for and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Done deal, man. Well, hey guys, appreciate it for having me on. Appreciate you, Eddie. Hopefully we'll see you soon then.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this is Growth Minded. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks. All right, man. Thanks.
Yeah, that was
I'll
solid.
I'll edit that. Like, I'll edit that. I'm